Learn how to give your title a spiky outline using the Distort Wave filter. In this lesson, I'll show you how to take your title from a simple type layer to a title with some extra visual interest. This video is being filmed in advanced mode of Photoshop Elements, but the instructions are exactly the same for Photoshop except where noted. So first we need to prepare the workspace. So I've already created a new 12-inch by 12-inch document at 300 pixels per inch with a white background. In the downloads for this lesson, I've included 3 WordArt files for you to practice with. If you want to follow along with me exactly, open the WordArt 1 PNG file now. In the Layers panel, right-click in Windows or Control-click on a Mac on the name of this layer and choose Duplicate Layer. In the dialog box, set the destination to the untitled document we just set up, and then you can click OK. Now you can close this original WordArt file. Now, as a note, closing the WordArt file should bring you back to the untitled document. If for some reason it didn't, go to your untitled document now. Next, get the Move tool, and then on the document, click and drag directly on the WordArt and just move it somewhere so that it's towards the center of the document. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. We just want to make sure that there's room around the document so that when we get to the filter step, we have plenty of room for that to work. Next, we're going to create the spikes. So press Ctrl-J in Windows or Command-J on a Mac to duplicate the WordArt layer. Then in the Layers panel, click on the bottom WordArt layer to make it the active layer. In the menu bar, choose Filter, Distort, Wave. In the dialog box, we're going to set the following. So first we're going to set the type to triangle, and then we're going to make sure that undefined areas are set to repeat edge pixels. Then we're going to set the number of generators to 5. We're going to set the wavelength to 20. We'll set the minimum to 20 and the maximum to 21, and then we'll set the amplitude minimum to 20 and the maximum to 21, and then we will leave the scale set to 100% for both horizontal and vertical. Once you have all that entered, you can click OK. And that's the result. You get these perfectly even spikes that go all the way around the outline of our word, and it looks really cool. Now, if you want to see what it does to the whole word, you can just temporarily hide this top layer, and you'll see that it, looks pretty neat that way, but this just makes it more readable, and I really like how that looks. One of the cool things about this technique is that you can change the settings in the filter menu just a little bit and achieve slightly different results. So I'm going to show you a few examples here, and if you want to mimic those examples as close as you can, I will provide the settings I used for those in the manual for this lesson. So here's a variation where the spikes are more varied in size, and again, you can find these settings in the manual. Here's another version where the spikes are more extreme. And here's one where the spikes are almost wavy around the outline. Now here are some notes about this filter. The size of the type or WordArt makes a difference in how this filter works. If you end up using a smaller sized word, reduce the number of generators to maintain a similar look to previous examples. Now, very small layers aren't going to work as well for this, so save this technique for when you have room for a large title. Font sizes of less than 72 points are too small for this technique. But playing with the wavelength and amplitude numbers as well as the number of generators is a fun way to kind of just see what it'll create and see if you like how it looks. But what if you want to use your own word? So to do that, let's do the following. First, we're going to set up a new document like we did at the beginning of this tutorial, and I've already done that here. Then we're going to get the horizontal type tool. In the tool options, I'm going to open the font picker and choose a serif style font. I'm going to use Playfair Display Bold. It's a font that you can find for free at Google Fonts. Then we will set the size to 150 points and then press Enter or Return to commit that size. Then we will click on the color chip and make sure that it's set to black. We'll make sure the leading is set to auto, the tracking is set to 0, and we will set the alignment to center. Photoshop users, please see the manual for specific instructions on how to set up your type tool. Then on the document, we will click once, and I'm going to type a single word, and I'm going to type the word today. Then you can click the check mark to commit. Now in the Layers panel, right-click in Windows or Control-click on a Mac on the name of this layer and choose Simplify Layer. Photoshop users choose Rasterize Type. From here, you can follow the same steps as before. So this is where we will duplicate the layer, then we will click on the bottom layer, and then we can run the filter again. So whenever you want to run the same filter a second time, you can do this option in the filter menu. So we'll go to the menu bar and choose filter. And then the very first option listed is the same filter we just used previously. So I'm going to run that again, and it gave me very similar results. Another thing I encourage you to do with this technique is to play around with recoloring the layers. In this example, I made the plain type layer a medium teal and the spikes a lighter teal. You could also play around with the blend mode of the layers. In this example, I made both the layers a light teal, and then I changed the blend mode of the top layer to multiply. Once you finish creating your title, then you can complete your scrapbook page. So here's my scrapbook page now that I've placed my Spiky title on it. I just love how cool the title looks on this page. The little spikes add some visual interest to the title without making it too distracting. And I colored it to match the colors in my photo, which helps draw the eye to that really cool leaf. And here's a card I made using a photo I took and a title. I love how easy cards like this are, and the title looks great here. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. This has been Jennifer Juris with Digital Scrapper. We help you get your stories told.